Hey everyone, Samantha Hugh again, back again with another video. I mean, this is crazy, 2 weeks in a row. I know last video I was like, oh my god, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make this happen. But I found some time this afternoon and I'm really excited. So what do you think of this new setup? I have a new lighting situation going on. I'm feeling it. I think it looks great, but you tell me because you're the one watching. I'm just here. I'm just here to make content. I wanted to do this video for a really long time, and I want to focus on what you can expect if you're an aspiring therapist or if you are a beginning therapist, because let me tell you, a lot of things in school or on the internet, they're just wrong, or people forget to tell you, like how extremely hard it is not to take your work home. They just don't tell you about that. Or how hard it is to actually make money when you first become a licensed professional, because people don't know who you are in your community. Nobody tells you that. They're like, hey, you want some easy money? Go talk to some people, charge them however much you want, and you'll be great. No, that's really, truly not how it works. So let me start at the beginning with self-care. And you know, if you've watched my past videos, I am so passionate about self-care, and I definitely want you to know that it's extremely important to have a regimen down before you see your first client. So whether that's working out, eating right, taking time for yourself, scheduling, I don't know, something amazing and frivolous like, well, not necessarily frivolous, like for you it might work out, but something exciting like a bubble bath or a hike or whatever it is, whatever your self-care is, that regimen that needs to be in place before you see a client. Because how are you supposed to help a client if you're running on empty? If you're running on empty, you have nothing to give to your people. That's not going to make a good relationship with them, and it's not going to allow you to be a clinician for long term. I don't make up the rules, y'all. The next thing is, if you're starting out, you're probably working at a clinic, or you're working for a nonprofit, or you're working under somebody else's private practice umbrella, and a lot of people think that you're going to be rich right after you get out of school and graduate. I'm not sure what it is like in other states in the United States or even other countries, but I know for the state of Georgia, you graduate and then 6 months later you're pretty much sitting for the test or you're applying for the test, depending on your situation and what that looks like. For me, I graduated and as soon as I could, I applied to sit for licensure because I knew my brain was not going to retain all the information that I had gotten previously. I knew how to do therapy in my bones, my soul, if you will, but I knew that the fundamentals of it were going to kind of wisp away or morph and change as I change as a clinician. So I sat for my licensure as soon as possible. That might not be a thing where you are, or it might be completely different. So look up your guidelines for LMFT, LPC, social work in your neck of the woods. But the main takeaway is that even if you get an associate license, like I was associate licensed 6 months after I graduated, go me, I still wasn't making enough to cover expenses. I was barely making it in my first 6 months of private practice. I went from, practicum at a domestic violence shelter, then jumping headfirst, if you will, into private practice. Do I recommend it for everyone? No. Did I make it a success now? Yeah, but that is hard work, and that's another video. I have another video planned talking about entrepreneurship and being a therapist, and I got some things to talk about. But a lot of people go into this profession thinking it's easy. You just sit there and you talk to people, and that you'll make buku loads of money. Yeah, maybe if you are lucky enough to have a specialty, or if you're lucky enough to be in a location or space that needs a therapist, and if you're lucky enough to be paneled, and not just paneled by yourself, maybe paneled under somebody. It all depends. But if you're going into private practice for money initially, yeah, you better have a side hustle. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna test out all my editing skills for this video, because it only allows me to film for so long, which I guess keeps us on track, because who wants to hear me talking for like 30 minutes? Not me. So anyway, another thing that I wish I would have known as I was starting out is that I needed to ask for help. So not only was I relying heavily on my supervisor, hey Chris, hope you were well, but I was relying on other community members. So I was relying on the other therapists that I was working with. I was relying on past professors from Mercer. I was relying on the people that I knew in just my small bubble. I wish I would have gone back in time and actually listened to Chris, because he's probably like, girl, I told you. I know I told you at least 3 times. But I wish I would have gone back and I would have reached out to my network and had a wider sense of my community. I was blogging professionally at that time. Professionally, like, don't get it twisted, it's not a real job. Like, the people who are real bloggers, like, good for you, but that was not my that was not my experience. But I was blogging to try to reach new clients and to grow my reach on the internet. I was kind of talking to people that I already knew, doctors and lawyers and what have you, but I wasn't really like getting invested in my community, partly because I knew I wasn't going to stay at that location my entire career, and partly because I felt like I had no ownership to my private practice. It wasn't really mine. It was under an umbrella of somebody else's that had different values and what have you. So I wish I would have done my own work and would have learned at a quicker pace, if you will, what it meant to network, because it's not just like who you know, it's going out and making friends or getting to know other people outside of the profession, because a lot of people are like, hey, you should just talk to other therapists. Let me be honest, it is a rarity to get a referral from another therapist, especially if they're in the same kind of wheelhouse as you. I believe in referrals just because I'm an ethical practitioner, and I believe in having like a communal, holistic approach to therapy and mental health. That doesn't mean everybody else does. Some people just take their clients and that's their client, and they'll see them for family and individual and couples and whatever. I don't work like that. Just that's another video for another time. I'm spilling way too much tea right now. But anyway, so my point is that now, as I am housed in I own it, private practice, and I am in the location where I do want to practice until the end of days or until something else happens, but at this time I'm very, very happy where I am. I started to invest in my community, making relationships within my community, and started growing that way. People know who I am, people can refer me, people can trust my brand now in different ways. Yeah, it helps to have a couple books out, but it also helps to just be personable, which is another thing. I think when we're young therapists, we're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been practicing like this for a long time. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And it's all about confidence. Yeah, none of us know what we're doing. We're just all trying to use the tips and tricks and theories that we have and make people's lives better. But in the beginning, I think we hear that and we feel that even more strongly because we just left school and we've just been licensed. So we might not know what we know now. But that's okay. That's why it's called practice, right? Yoga practice, you're practicing to get better. Therapy practice, you're practicing to get better. I know I really take seriously my CEUs and growing in that sense. And I think baby therapists are like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be good right off the bat. That is just not true. You're going to continue to grow. You're going to become a better therapist. There are going to be cases that you look at and you're going to be like, holy shit, why did I do that with that client? It didn't work. And guess what? You know why you did that? Because you were practicing and you were learning and you were growing, and now you can do better. Excellent. Okay. This thing, remember this thing that I always do? It's not working. And it's sad because now I have to be like, hey guys, and then I have to like figure out how to edit that. Here we go. Anyway, that's a couple of things that I think as a new therapist I wish I would have known. I also wish I would have understood that it's feast or famine. Like, I understood that logically, like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of clients sometime, a lot of people are going to come in, and then they're going to disappear, and they're going to get new clients, and the cycle continues and goes on until the end of days. I really wish I would have understood that concept more and would have freaked out less if I wasn't bringing in enough money. Now, yeah, I had to get a side hustle as well. Again, nobody talks about that. They're like, I'm a therapist, that's all I do. No, I was teaching, I was writing books, I was blogging and trying to get a couple dollars here and there for that. You have to hustle in the beginning. Like, I cannot stress that enough. You have to hustle. This might be a controversial video, but if I'm not talking about it, then who is? I haven't heard anybody be honest about what it's like to be a therapist, so here I am trying to be honest with y'all about the ups and downs of this profession. It's amazing, it's wonderful, I love it, I am so blessed, and I'm finally where I want to be professionally, and I just keep on growing, and that just tickles my heart. But to get to that point, you have to hustle and you have to work hard at it and you have to keep growing. That's the key point with everything, right? Is to keep growing. So that's all I got for you today. I hope it was valuable. I hope if you are thinking about being a therapist that you take into consideration some of the things that I have said to you. If you have any questions or comments, all my information is down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you on your journey. It's a very exciting profession. It's a very hard profession, but it's terribly, terribly worth it. I love it, and I hope you enjoy it too. That's your calling in life. Alright, let me know what you think. Comments below, subscribe, share this video to people who you think need to hear this message. And as always, take care of yourself, and until next time, bye!